Well, hello there guys. Welcome back to Karin's Orchids channel in Gothenburg, Sweden. Yeah, that's where I live. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've been living there or here for my whole life. Admirable sum of years now. Getting old. But still, I'm just as vital as ever. Why is it so extremely wet? These roots will die off. Why? 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 Look. All of the roots are now dead. But no, that doesn't help me now. This is a rescue plant, really. This one is a bit sturdier, but no. So wet. What happened? Yeah, but she will recover. That was my point. That was my idea about getting this orchid. The first thing I needed to do was to recover her. I mean, look. This puzzles me a bit. This is so dripping wet. Let me demonstrate. This one I liked a lot. But well, I've been growing Cattleya orchids for many years now, and I think I'm gonna be able to make a bounce back. But it would take a few years for her to get into bloom. So from this stage, I just hate complaining overall in a way. So it will only give me trouble and a lot of wasted time. I mean, this is Cattleya orchid. RC, Xing, Sun, Smile, Findus. Yeah? Flowering size for €18. At least it said so in the web shop. But I got it for €16. I was totally drenched in wet sphagnum moss. But that doesn't really resonate with me at all, yeah? What happened? Since I was so careful with not shipping when the weather conditions were too cool. So I waited 1.5 weeks more to ship my order. I had to wait just because of the weather conditions being too cool. And they sent them there, not wrapped up in any paper or stuff. Yeah. Packed them loosely in styrofoam peanuts to avoid rotting and the plant getting too damp during transport. So, that wet moss still doesn't resonate with me. And never will. And that was the first time ever that happened to me from that particular nursery. That's so strange. Must be some kind of mistake, or just forgot about it, or was about to let it dry, or I'm not sure what they did. So I will forgive them as a first-time failure. I mean, almost 95% of the other orchids I got from them throughout the years, and I do order from Orchids and More loads of times per year. Having no right, totally fine. So let's not just one force move and you're out. No, that's not the way I work. So, all right, what to do with this orchid? I'm not entirely sure, really, since it's let's just get these guys out of the way. As this Cattleya is a hybrid, I would love to put her into semi-hydro, but that would probably rot the base to it. That would be a particularly bad idea at the state she's in right now. And I won't cut off the roots, even though perhaps 95% of them aren't functioning anymore. Yeah, they could some tiny, yeah, let's just save it. I wouldn't want to keep it too wet until she starts to create new roots from these eyes, as we call them, beginning of another new shoot, or perhaps 2 even, or 3, or even 4. As this orchid is in real danger now, these will start growing relatively soon, I'd say. Needs roots which are functioning. So just to put her in something, I might as well just have put her bare rooted in a cup. Yeah, perhaps that's what I'm going to do. Actually, yeah, good idea. So why not? Yeah, I know the perfect solution for her. At least I think I am. This high glass or coffee mug may work. So keep it down. And I might as well just mist the sides here a little bit to lure out the new growth faster. That might work. I mean, this is not an uncommon sight in this apartment. As I ordered from Look Orchid in Germany, the bare-rooted imports from Brazil several times, they all arrived just like this, without any roots. So, and this is how I treated them. And just in a couple of months, they've all created new shoots and new roots. So it was possible for me to repot them into some kind of medium. Yeah, so it's just going to sit somewhere. Not too much light for the time being. Yes, it will take a toll on what's left. I might even put her inside that little bit more high humidity cabinet in order to hydrate the foliage. This is all she's got. And the canes, which are a bit shriveled already and wrinkled. So that one is the most promising cane. With a bit of water stored until she creates something new. So yeah, I'm gonna put her there for a couple of months or so and take care of her. And of course, this one carries the best flowers in this whole order. Of course she did. Together with the Trianae, of course. Yeah. Let's not forget about that one. Yeah, I'm gonna put this gal aside for now. Or maybe just put her where she should be. And right. What now? Yeah, here we have my favorite Orchid, Green Cattleya, Wish you glory, happy holiday. And I'm sorry for the lighting. This video is not the best quality today, but I need to film when it's light outside today. Unfortunately, I need to take care of these guys. Now, yeah, that's the way it is today. Nah. Anyways, just gonna get rid of this bucket. I mean, this pot. Can you see? Just a little bit of bark to the bottom. And the whole thing was all just pressed down there as it arrived. Yes. That's how to do it. Nothing wrong about it. Imagine you're having a couple of hundreds or perhaps 1,000 new orchids to take care of. Just arriving with a shipment from Brazil or such. You certainly aren't gonna stand there reporting, or are you? You want to sell. Yeah? You need to get them up on the market. Yeah. So you want to be able to sell them to your website. So start by peeling off the sheath here. Yeah. It's a perfect spot for insects to lurk underneath if you leave it be. Yeah. Alright. Somebody, cut off an old dead something with no functioning roots anymore, so it doesn't matter. Just gonna tear this one off. And that one, of course. Whoops. Yay. I'm starting to see some life down there. Anyways. no good roots, but they are damp, and I certainly haven't watered them yet, so all this watering, I do not really know what. Yeah, anyways, what it's going to be good for orchids which are lacking roots. So we need to wait for another new root system even for this orchid. So this must be an import from Brazil or such as well, just as the Lucca nursery does it, perhaps. I'm not sure. So just get rid of a lot of its roots, and we shall wait for this weak new growth to create a couple. It looks like she is gonna create a couple of new roots soon. But there's still some built up energy to this plant, so yeah. Into clay pot with my mix. Regular mix for Cattleya orchids. But in this case, I'm going to add in a little bit more sphagnum moss than I usually am. And I'm also going to add in a little bit of vermiculite. So it's like this, if you haven't seen it before. This is said to, you can combine it with perlite. It's totally fine. But this one won't repel moisture. It will distribute moisture. Yes. It will collect moisture, and if it's getting too dry in the area surrounding it, it's going to slowly distribute it to the surrounding medium. That's what I heard. That's what I read. I never really used it for anything. I didn't feel the need until most recently, when an idea formed into my brain. But, why not? Yeah, might work. Let's try it out. Slow release fertilizer in there. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I'm going to clean it off and, as I said, use a clay pot. Not too large of a pot. She doesn't have any functioning roots yet. But I can switch later on. Just rip the whole orchid up from the pot. Put it down to a larger clay pot with a little bit, with a new layer of sphagnum moss surrounding it. Yeah, and keep the old moss, which is not going to be very old when that happens. All right, over to the next orchid. Yet another Cattleya. Let's remove that ugly bucket from our eyesight. Yeah, Cattleya isn't Boo Lady Red Beauty. Yeah, I'm going to give you a pop-up of its parents. Yeah. This is the anseps shaped flowers. Yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah, look. New growth. Yeah. Good thing I felt it before I got too fierce. Not much else, but, well, 2 new growth on the way. That's great. New roots coming. But, let's see now. It's got Laelia, or Cattleya. It might be Laelia still. Anseps in it. I don't think. I might be benefiting from staying outside in the cool temperatures. So, is it wise to put her into semi-hydro? Nah, not really. But, well, into clay pot, I think. So she can stand steadily. Yeah, its roots looks like crap, but they are most part of them are relatively sturdy. The ones that's left, that is. Well, you can see it's a division. Yeah. Bark and growth stones. A lot of growth stones for this one. Yeah. This will work. Same thing goes for this one. This mix with a little bit more pumice into it for this orchid. Into a clay pot for stability and weight. I think this one is going to grow nicely. It's got a lot of inheritance from the Laelia anceps in her, you can see. She's been blooming several times, probably, at least from this one. So yeah, this is great. At this tiny size as well, so that's really something, yeah. I'm just going to put her into a bucket of water for now, so I can shake off the most part of the piece of box, clinging on to the roots right now. We don't really need them, yes. Encyclia vitulina. To me, it's been one of the most difficult orchids to grow, and one of the most desirable ones for me. But this one looks like a very promising, not very, but quite promising. Yeah, that's my favorite word. Quite promising plant to me. Yeah, I picked off the sheath and I sprayed them all with pesticide, just in case, for prevention. Yeah, and this poor orchid is sitting in coconut husk. So, well, as I know how sensitive this orchid is, I'm just going to scratch off this layer of algae. So peel off, I mean. This, whoa, as you can see. No, I'm not going to make the same mistake 2 times. And there's a reason why they put her into this type of medium. This won't degrade as fast as regular bark and keeps moisture for a tiny plant as this one is. It needs to be hydrated. It's still sitting in this one, but I have my own little mixture here of char and vermiculite, just a little tiny bit. So, if I just push that little root down there, and if I just get rid of that little sheath and add in, just fill it up. Still use this pot, it's all right. For a while, at least. Not too much. I remember this orchid being quite sensitive when it comes to the base. So, yeah. Roddening, and roddening. Yes, finicky one. Just like so many times before, you meet up with a finicky orchid. Roddening to the base. But yeah. Not too low down. And not too high. So, something in between. That's totally fine for her. For a while. That's all I'm going to do with a vitulina. I do not dare to do anything else. And I finally got a proper one. Let's see how she'll be doing in my conditions. This time, yes? And here we have a gorgeous little thingy, which seems to be wanting to keep its flowers intact without blossoming for us. Look, it's even starting to develop its spur. Now it's visible. It wasn't 2 days ago when this package arrived. So you can see the little spur where the moth comes pollinating it. Yeah. And Recum orchids It doesn't really like to be repotted all that much. So I'm going to let it stay as it is. But I'm simply just going to add a top layer here for looks. And to try to keep the moisture down a bit as it spark. That's possible, we'll see. Yes. Angraecum leonis species, Madagascar species, African orchid, which I love a lot. I've never seen a spike on the leonis or whatever before. So it's a very nice plant for once. Here we have something different. Ah, well, it's an Angraecum orchid as well, Distitium. I've never seen it before, never heard of it, but I can see that it's maybe now it's out of its spot. So what to do about it, really? Yeah, might as well just switch medium, put it to something else, and I might as well switch. But I don't think I have any transparent pots this size anymore. I used them all up for something else. So it will need to stay in this one for a while. Well, let us try out a little bit of coconut husk fiber for him. Fluffy enough, but still retains moisture. Let's add a little bit of perlite onto the equation, just to make sure it doesn't stay too soggy for far too long, as I do not really know much about this species, Angraecoid orchid. So might as well just take a few precautions and choose the middle way. Safe up thing. So I think this orchid is going to do swell. If she creates another new root system before long, I think she's going to need to be staying in the cabinet. I just need to check up on what kind of temperatures it likes to be sitting in. If it's going to be in here with a little bit cooler temperatures, or if it's going to be in my harder cabinet. So, but into a cabinet it goes. That is a pretty little thing, isn't it? Japonica, my little friend. Yeah, just in regular bark. Look like. With some perlite. I thought this orchid was a little bit more finicky than it actually was. So this time around I'm going to treat her just the same way as I treat all the rest of my Phalaenopsis orchids. I'm not going to consider any temperature shifts or decrease in temperature or blah, 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 blah for her. I tried that already and it didn't work with my mature one I had, as I didn't like to shift from moss to bark and then back again, as I was so uncertain of why this orchid didn't bloom. Oh, not this one, but the one I had prior, yeah. So I was disturbing it far too many times, and eventually one time too many. So I'm going to give her this one in a special treatment this time. But what I'm going to do is spray her root system with a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. Yes, that will happen now. It's just dry and all. Yeah. So it's going to be something like looks like this with a little bit of, I guessed it, vermiculite added into a little plastic pot. If you can find a transparent one, it must be somewhere. Otherwise, I'll use this one. Moss and bark, perlite, vermiculite, perhaps a little bit, charcoal mix. Yeah, similar mix I use for my cattleyas and clay pots. It works well for Phalaenopsis orchids as well. Yeah? They're still using its old name. It probably had 1,000 tags with a former name of the genus Sedaria. Nowadays, we're classified into regular Phalaenopsis genus. Next one up on the table is a pure disappointment, really. Not pure, but Laelia is Cattleya, purpurata variation Carnia. The one with the pink center. Yes. Never found it. I never found a decent-sized, flowering-sized, healthy plant of this variety. So I strongly doubt that this one will stay healthy. But, well, never know. But there really are several plants in this pot. You see? Might as well just pot them up separately. This one is one plant, so I can sell it for about €10. Why the heck not? Yeah. Here's another one. Back bulb. This one I cannot sell, really. Look at the tip here. I might as well give it away to the lottery or such. Yes. And here's the best plant. Yeah. I mean, the best section. This one has got a decent chance on even producing a good second growth here to this high one. But not very soon, unfortunately. Won't happen. But it was a very cheap one. I think I paid 12. So, if you consider that I will be able to sell one of these divisions for about the same amount and still keep 2. Oh yeah, something like that. That's not a very, very, very bad idea, after all. Rather choose to put 3 separate divisions into the same pot. Yes. Enough talk, but look, there are new roots coming there, starting. Yeah, just the other day, probably. Just a cleanup and a little bit of shit. Yay. That one dropped, but it doesn't matter. This division will grow on. Yeah, it will. It's strong enough to do it. Without this tattle leaf. Yeah, it's discolored and everything, so it doesn't help much. The only long root is scarred. It's smushy. As they watered it, of course, they watered the orchid right before shipment. Yeah, so into a little clay pot with loads of moss and a couple of pieces of bark. That's a good concept for the Cattleya purpuratus. They like to be potted up in a lot of moss. That's what I've discovered with this genus, Cattleya genus. I do not like at all being potted up into semi-hydro. I would never try that method for a purpurata again. Yeah, that's for sure. So, 3 separate divisions. Yeah, it's going to be treated the same way. Naturally, this tiny one will be potted up into a very, very tiny pot. And this one I can either keep for myself without that leaf, yes, or sell it. Yes, I'm working on a list, so I'm going to sell a couple of orchids. divisions and stuff, which occurs always springtime and all. When you're repotting orchids, they will naturally fall a couple of pieces off, especially off of a bulbophyllum orchid, which they've got a tendency of separating themselves by repotting. Yeah, but and it also happens with a couple of my Cattleya orchids. I need to down. Yeah, in some cases I need to downsize the pots, or maybe they have a natural split, or simply just growing just like as if there were two separate plants in one, with a big gap in between the rhizome. So yeah, not really for looks. So in some cases I decide to divide an orchid that looks like that. So in a while, yeah, might happen. I'm not sure yet, but there will be a list someday. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, let us look at something else. BC, Cattleya, does white pepper pink. That name actually stands for Brassavola, crossed with the Cattleya, yeah? But the Brassavola digbyana, which is in it, has now been reclassified into Rhyncholalia Cattleya. So it should be RLC, not BC. But anyways, I may be wrong, but I don't think so in this case. But a quite decent root system. If it wasn't for all of the algae, I would have been satisfied. Yeah. Doesn't smell bad, although it's covered with algae. But well, I think it's clay pot time for this orchid. No semi-hydro, nothing of the sorts for it. But I won't be digging into this plug of moss either. I'll just scratch off a bit here. Slippery. Bleh. Ugh, yucky. Yucky, yucky, yucky. Maybe a bit of hydrogen peroxide will help. Might help with the algae. At least I can wash it off the surface under my faucet, but I'm not entirely sure it will work. But we can give it a go. Just a little bit. Let it stay there for a while. And yeah, my regular moss and bark mix. Nothing fancy. I'm just going to add on a little bit more moss than I've been using lately. Yes, I've been cutting back on the moss to my mix a little bit. I thought that would be cheaper and work as well as with a lot of spag. But yeah, I think I was wrong, a little bit wrong there. So we need to have a decent amount of spag into the clay pots. Yes, it's better. Yes, for some of them. Especially the smaller ones, of course, which need a little bit more hydration as they're growing. Yeah, let's see if we can wash off a little bit of it, the algae. I'll be D. Yeah, it worked. Hydrogen peroxide. And just like I was doing the dishes. Like this. Scratching it all off with my finger under the faucet. And it worked with the algae layer, slippery layer. So now it's gone. Looking all right. I'm not going to fuss about with her anymore. Just going to stick her down into a clay pot with a lot of moss, as she is. Now there's only one plant left for this session. It's a species Cattleya orchid. Cattleya trianae. FMA, formerly known as Trilabello times semi-alba. And I think it had another name. Yeah, I'm going to give you a pop-up. I forgot. And the picture of her is here. Yes. Flowering-sized orchid. Relatively expensive for this size. But, well, she might be blooming-sized, but she was announced as a blooming-sized orchid, at least. Yeah, compact moss, like, yay, as you can see, adding on a new layer around the orchid and put it into a larger pot. Yeah. This is just a very commonly known method to use. A softy, in a way. Soft repotting. Yeah, let's see now. It's not the, shall we say, most expensive moss there is out there. She's potted up in, really. But she does seem to like... Oh, Lord. She does seem to like it. And it looks like she's been fed with the curling fertilizer. The red one, which is a very nice fertilizer, by the way. I need to make yet another order at the curling nursery for a couple of pots. And maybe this beautiful fertilizer is soon finished. This red one, which is a very nice fertilizer to use during the cooler season, when the orchids virtually aren't, or shouldn't be, normally aren't, yeah, growing as much as in spring and summer. And in order not to create long, slim, flimsy, slender kings, to keep them more chubby, they use these fertilizers combined together. This is red, yeah, and it will leave remaining discoloration to the moss if used frequently with moss, yeah. But they are lovely, yes. Anyways, this is yeah, I'm gonna wash her off as I did before with the other orchid, and yeah, you guessed it, into a clay pot with relatively yeah, a fair amount of sphagnum moss. A couple of pieces of bark, chunkier pieces of bark, a little bit of perlite perhaps. I think that's it for this orchid. She's growing. Can you see? Loads of root tips. So it's going to be an excellent root system for her. This gorgeous variation of the Trianae. Yeah. Unfortunately, her leaf system, leaf set, isn't the greatest, but, well, she'll grow. That's the beauty with Cattleya orchids. They should have a really disastrous leaf set. And the contrast between the ugly leaf set and the gorgeous flowers will be so pronounced that will make this whole orchid even more interesting and the flowers even more beautiful, if you see what I mean. Yeah. Well, I could go on talking forever about Cattleya orchids and stuff. Oh, well, I hope you don't think or feel that I'm blah away far too much. I hope you enjoy my videos and what I'm doing. And if you'd like to see something else, something different, want me to talk about some other types of orchids a little bit more often than I do, it might just be that I forgot about them or, yeah, such. So try to make me remember. Help me on my way if you wanna. I'll be very appreciated with some help with this channel. Yes. All right. That you guys who are watching and who's been watching all the way to the end are really doing the supporting. So a little bit extra thanks to you guys today. All right. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. We should talk soon.